Hey everyone, welcome to the West Dakota Dad. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have the time and are able to do so, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, a rating, review, whatever it is. It really helps me to reach out to more and more people. All right, so now with that being said, I forgot to say, I would also be very grateful for that. So now, let's move on. I don't want to leave out that because if you do me a favor, I want you to know that it's definitely going to be appreciated. I don't know why that word bothers me so much. Appreciative. Appreciate, I can say fine, but I feel like that other word, it just doesn't sound right coming out. Weird thoughts. Anyways, so this is, I believe, episode 49. I think I'm going to title it Remodel. Because every year, and sometimes multiple times throughout the year, since we have moved into our house, my wife and I have done a project, and we love doing projects. Most of the time, it is to do with upgrading our house. For instance, just a quick recap of all the projects we've done. When we first moved into our house in April of 2018, the very first thing on the agenda once the weather warmed up was we needed to install a fence because we were tired of taking our dog out on a leash to go to the bathroom in our own lawn. So we knew that a fence was going to be a priority. Next, we also at the same time said we probably need a sprinkler system because one, in our covenants, it does say to have a sprinkler system. And two, we don't have a spigot in our front yard. And our front yard is probably 2 or 3 times the size of our backyard, which has 2 spigots, which doesn't make sense. So just for the sake of not having to drag out hundreds of feet of hose, we knew that was going to be something that we wanted to do. And we had saved up for it, so it was all right. Also, before we got the sprinklers in, since our house was a foreclosed house and it sat vacant for a year or so, the sod that the previous owner had put down, parts of it completely deteriorated. So we actually took and rototilled up about a third of our front yard and then raked it all up. And that was a project that was just, oh man, that was not fun. So, and then later that fall, we decided that, we needed to heat our garage because our cars were barely being able to be started in our garage. And so we knew we needed to heat our garage, which we also found out that, hey, our garage isn't insulated when I was going to run the electrical for the heater. And so, surprise, we also had to do insulate our garage while at the same time when we were going to put the heater in. So that was 2018. 2019, we had a furnace fiasco. My wife, I think I've mentioned this before, my wife was like 8.5 months pregnant, and it was the coldest month that we had ever lived in our house, and honestly, probably the coldest month we've seen in a long time in North Dakota. Man, it was cold. And our furnace just was not keeping up. It was running full time. Heat was being pushed out of it. We had someone come and look at it. They said it's working fine. I said, but something's not right. Our house is only 60 degrees with that running full time. Plus we had 2 space heaters plugged in full time just to keep our house at like 60 to 63 degrees, which is very cold in the wintertime when it's negative. Actually, comparably, I mean, it's warmer than outside, which was like negative 30 or 40 or something like that. I can't remember. So then we realized, me putting my actual trade to work here, I realized, you know what? Our furnace is undersized. It's only a 10,000 watt electric forced air furnace. And the one I put in my garage earlier was a 7.5 kW heater. So the one in my garage was almost about the size of the one that was heating my whole house. But we didn't have any room in our panel to upgrade to a 20 kW furnace. So I decided, you know what? Whichever company can do it, we need to have this done as fast as we can. My wife is 8.5 months pregnant and we need to switch it over to natural gas. I don't care. Let's just get it done. And thankfully, our local heat and air company came over and they got the job done. And we were so thankful. We actually had our curtains would actually move now that were hanging over the top of the furnace or one of the registers there. So that was nice. Well, then also since it was 2019 and we were getting ready for our daughter to be brought into this world and be welcomed by us. We had to get the nursery done. And then also later that year, we hired out to have someone build our deck on our house because we didn't have a deck on our house. It was a sliding glass door and a drop off. So it was nice to have a deck and also another exit from our house in case of a fire or something. 2020 came around. I had some time. I painted some rooms. I made a little shelf for my wife when I was on furlough for her bathroom. It was pretty cool. We made our daughter's bed, which I think I posted some pictures about. Really cool, kind of a Pinterest look to it and everything. Bed for our daughter when she upgraded to a twin size bed from the crib. 2021 on New Year's, we did a coffee bar, and we are currently in the process of getting some rooms painted. And the newest project, which I'm about to tell you about, started off with my wife walking out to the living room with a cup of warm coffee. She looked cozy. I was drinking my coffee as well on the couch. She looks at me and says, "We should do the floors. We should tear up all the carpets upstairs and redo the floors." Oh, okay. Yeah, let's do. I was looking for a project to do. I was kind of excited. But at the same time, I was kind of nervous because I've never done it before. And even though we had talked about it for a couple of years and we had money saved up for it, I thought we were going to hire it out. She wanted to just get it done. So I was like, all right, let's take on this challenge. How hard could it possibly be? So we went with vinyl planking floors, which I will post some pictures on if I haven't already by the time this airs. And we tore into the carpets, and this is kind of how it went. It took 3 weekends to do. And by the way, those rooms downstairs that I'd said for my previous episode, we're working on it. A new priority took place. So this is how weekend one started out with doing these floors. And I mean, entitled, the first weekend was just stress. Stress because, I didn't really know what to do. So I was stressed that 1, I would let my wife down, that I wasn't able to do this. 2, I was stressed that we just were going to, continue making mistakes, or there'd be a mistake in the middle of the project and we wouldn't notice to the end, which would have to, there was just so much unknowns that I was just stressing about. I was kind of grumpy with myself, and I think my wife thought that I was talking about her because she kept repeating, "Do you want to kill me yet? Do you want to kill me yet?" Which wasn't really the case. Like, I wanted to do the project, but I was just frustrated with myself because I was scared. I was stressed out. But so I was able. Like I said, I got frustrated real quickly with things. If something wouldn't snap together right, or if the start of the floor was the toughest part, trying to get it. So the whole floor runs square with something. I don't know, and so I kept getting frustrated. And I will say though, the funnest part about it was taking a knife to your own house carpets. Like, there's something that's rebellious that feels like, yeah, I'm getting away with this because the only person I can get mad at is me. So that was kind of fun, taking a knife just straight to our carpets. That was awesome. Which I also found out, carpets are so filthy. And our carpets weren't that old, but they were definitely well worn out from the previous owner. They had a creature habit. They just went in one spot of the house, which was completely matted down. There's no fluff to it anymore. And after tearing it up, and even though we are frequent vacuumers because we have a dog, man, they are disgusting. So I'm glad we went to vinyl planking flooring. So very happy with it. But like I said, I was getting frustrated easily, and I started to have these flashbacks to my childhood when I helped my dad out. My dad gets frustrated easily, and that's, nothing against him or anything, but I was having these flashbacks when I'd help my dad, and I just didn't have the knowledge of, what the job entailed. He'd often get mad at me because his common sense was, need to know all your tools and how to use them. That's just common sense because he grew up building things with his hands. He was a tradesman. And so now that I'm a tradesman, I was starting to get these frustrations as well, not necessarily with my wife, but just because I didn't know what tools I needed for the job I was doing. I needed to go buy some, which is kind of a plus of doing it yourself because now you just accumulate more tools, which is never a bad thing, opposed to hiring someone out, then you don't get those extra tools. So Anyways, silver lining. But I kept having this flashback to my dad, and I remember a lot of the projects, even though we were proud of them when we were done, I remember they were just sometimes miserable because of all the frustrations, even though it was good quality time with my dad. So I kind of wanted to, for the next weekend, shift my frustrations to just why get frustrated? This is a project, there's no time crunch to do it. Like, let's just do this and enjoy it. We don't want to look at these floors and have it be deemed, oh, I remember that was a nightmare of a project, we're never doing that again. Like, let's just have fun with it. So yeah, second weekend came around. I'm gonna title this second weekend New Attitude. Now we're cooking, man. We're getting floors laid down, we're making stuff line up, even complex cuts and everything. I was like, yeah, I'm confident now. I'm building some steam. We're making our way here. And I just had an overall better mood. And my wife, I think she realized that I was really losing it because I had this really unique, a lot of cuts in this board, a lot of angles and everything. And I cut it so wrong, like completely wrong. And I went inside, and if I just would have looked at it, I would have realized something's not right here. But instead, I measured it out, cut it, then brought it inside. I was just like, oh wow, this is off. I had cuts where I didn't need cuts. I had angles that were completely off. Yikes. I mean, it was bad. And the only thing I did was I just laughed. I just laughed out loud. LOL'd, as they say. And I think my wife thought I was officially losing it at that point in time. And the weekend before, when my daughter wanted to help, primarily with either a hammer or anytime I was on my knees, she would jump on my back, wanting to ride as a pony. I'd get frustrated. This week, when she would do that, I just kind of embraced it. I let her, I just let her have, projects with Dad should be fun. It should be a memorable thing. I want her to enjoy the learning process of building something with your own hands and having that self sense of accomplishment. And even though she's really young right now and she has no idea what we're doing, I didn't want her to somehow have bad memories or feelings about doing stuff yourself. So I had a better mood. The final weekend, absolute success. We had parts that finally came in. We were able to get some stuff done. I got the stairs done, which I was probably most stressed about because I had no idea how I was going to do the stairs. We still have a little bit of quarter round molding we got to put up in certain places because stuff wasn't square, and I really just didn't want to take this extra time to try to figure out what angles to precisionally cut to fit in there, and then fight every tooth and nail of trying to get it laid in without scratching walls and stuff. So I do have a little bit of trim yet to put up, but overall everything looks fantastic. So happy with it. Our house just feels cleaner, more cozy, which I thought they'd feel colder. And it feels a lot more wide open because we had linoleum in our kitchen and carpet in our living room, and now it's all one uniform floor, and so it looks great. I am super excited with it. My wife is happy. So lessons learned over this whole thing is don't let something new scare you or cause you to lash out to others. It is probably the biggest thing I learned from this. Weekend one, I'll admit, probably wasn't much fun. I hope the next 2 weekends my wife enjoyed me more. And then be patient, because if you get in a rush and get impatient, especially with those little grooves that everything has to snap in, you're going to break them off and you're just going to get more frustrated. So just be patient and just have fun with it. That's the 3 biggest things there is, so don't let something new scare you or cause you to lash out. Be patient and just have fun. That's what I learned from doing this project, and I hope I can transfer that to other projects without going into autopilot of frustrated and annoyed and tired, because I worked long days on these. I worked from 7 in the morning till about sometimes 11 at night. So, and with little breaks, because I get determined when I do projects. So that's what I kind of had for you guys today. I do have some scripture for you coming from Ephesians chapter 4, verse 2. Always be humble and gentle. Be patient with each other, making allowance for each other's faults because of your love. And I think that is spot on with the project that I just had. And I think it's a great reminder. So that's what I had for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you guys are having a fantastic week. Again, if you could just like, comment, share, whatever you need to do. Until next time, I'm the West Dakota Dad. Thank you so much for listening.